Let's give you a pull. (2012) 987.2 Porsche Cayman R. You may be wondering, what is the R? It was essentially the hardest core version of the 987 Cayman that you could get. So compared to a regular Cayman, you had stiffer suspension, an LSD, 121 pounds of weight savings from aluminum doors, lighter seats, lighter wheels, and a freer flowing exhaust for an extra 10 horsepower compared to the Cayman S. These weighed in right around 3,000 pounds. They're powered by the 3.4 liter flat six that is naturally aspirated, making 330 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. In terms of mods, we have Ohlins R&T coilovers, Soul Performance valved exhaust, several brake upgrades including a GT3 master cylinder, stainless steel brake lines, slotted rotors, and Ferodo DS2500 pads for the street, although the owner runs DS1.11 on the track. We have GT3 lower control arms, an EvoMS tune, and some supporting mods that you can find down in the description as always. This was the generation that I consider to look very froggy, both for better and worse. I think it has some classic shapes, but it does definitely look its age. Maybe it looks even more than its age, honestly. Cayman R right here. And this is a higher mileage example. We're at 113,000 miles. Which is good, right? This means the owners have been getting a lot of smiles out of this vehicle, not just keeping it in the garage. The steering wheel, I always feel like these older generation Porsches, the steering wheel just didn't age very well. You had like this, you know, the screens right here, these darker inserts that it looks pretty dated. It looks, again, possibly even older than 2012. But a very simple and purpose-built cabin, which I appreciate. You also have these pull straps with the Cayman R to give you that extra flair and whatever couple grams of weight savings as well. Love the Porsche. How? Yes, boys. And I realized I might have misspoke earlier. In the manual, the 6-speed manual variant, this weighs in closer to 2,850 pounds. And if you go for the optional 7-speed PDK, it's going to be about 100 pounds heavier, around 2,960-ish. But first impressions, this is definitely a more tired example. You can hear the squeaks and rattles. You can feel a lot of play in the transmission. It's not just lateral slop, but even forward and back slop here. The 987 Caymans, I've never been a big fan of the shifter, but again, this one's showing a little bit more age. Very long throws as well. But man, do I love that naturally aspirated engine. Immediate throttle response, lovely sound. Now with the brake mods he's done here, the master cylinder and the lines and the rotors and the pads, the brakes feel more modern than everything else in the car. It has a very firm bite, which actually is a little bit not aligned with other parts of the car. You look at the steering, you have this long, look at how slow this ratio is. You have to steer it so far. It's a larger diameter wheel as well. Right there, misshift into fourth rather than into second because transmission not giving us a lot of confidence and clarity between these gates. Yeah, the brakes, I mean, the first maybe inch or so, there's not really anything, and then it gets super firm all of a sudden, much more modern with its feel, but everything else is very much not modern. You're mixing different eras and different driving styles, which actually reduces some of the naturalness and the beauty of Porsche's one-to-one inputs. Track coilovers always pair so well with Porsches, especially Caymans. Give you nice ride comfort with good body control. Steering is hydraulic, but I'm not getting the feedback that I'm expecting. Granted, the Caymans even the 987 with hydraulic steering never give you tremendous feedback, but it was definitely better than this. This is actually quite muted, and again, I think a large part of that is due to the age of the vehicle, various components and bushings being worn out, needing some refreshing in order to give you that sharper, more immediate feel to the car. The real centerpiece for me is really the engine. Granted, the gearing is a little bit on the long side, as is the case in many of Porsche's vehicles. But you have nice ergonomics. It's easy to heel toe rev mesh, even with an extra firm and incongruent brake pedal. Still not a problem. We have a 45-55 front to rear weight distribution, tight polar moment of inertia with that mid-engine Cayman balance, and on the street, not at track speeds, you're not really feeling the limitations of the strut suspension. It's still relatively comfortable, even without dynamic camber change as the suspension loads up. It's not like you're finding understeer. The limits of this car are relatively high because it is lightweight, because it has a relatively low center of gravity. Because Porsche just really knows what they're doing when it comes to engineering sports cars. I love that as it builds, the character, the note, the sound changes. It's not just the same tone. Very immediate throttle response. Fairly smooth engine, getting a good amount of brake feel actually too, which is excellent. Again, I don't have an issue with the brakes. Like, the brakes feel very good. We have to look at it in the context of the rest of the car. So if the brakes feel modern and great and good feedback and control, but then you have a super slow ratio steering and a super long throw manual transmission and great travel to your throttle, it just feels a bit weird. It feels like you need to concentrate on the inputs because they're not as natural and as one-to-one. Let's give you a pull. It's a car that really rewards you as you rev it out to 7,600 RPM red line. The manual transmission on the 987s has this really weird tilty nature to it where the throws are extra long, and it's not because the whole thing is moving forward and back, but from the base of the shifter, it just tilts so much back and forth. You have to give Porsche credit for what they've done with the Caymans ever since the beginning with these Cayman Rs. Because they're so well rounded, you can have fun with this thing on the track. You can drive it to and from the track. You can drive it to and from work, daily it. Relatively practical with the front and the trunk. NVH is not too bad, even in this, 13 plus year higher mileage example. Sure, a bit of squeaks and rattles and things like that. But because of the Porsche build quality, it's still tolerable at this mileage. I do think that refreshing a lot of these components, especially the bushings and such, would really sharpen the driving experience. And it's a good reminder for all of us that when cars are getting higher in mileage, we may get used to it because we're just seeing the car slowly evolve with time. But what's actually happening is it's slowly degrading. And a lot of those little nuances, the communication, the stiffness, the tightness of how the car responds to your inputs can slowly wear away. Steering gets nice and heavy when you go slower, not overly light. More of that dynamic weighting change. What I should actually say here with regards to the steering is that you do notice some dynamic weighting change even mid-corner with lateral G load up, but the actual texture of the road is really lacking. Big shout out to the owner, Andy, for letting me review his 987.2 Cayman R. Shout out to Fenton from the Zygreen channel for making this review possible. My friends, if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage, and I'll see you all in that next one.